All right, let's step back in time, right into one of the most intense, pivotal moments in American history. We're talking about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Let's really dig into how this whole thing went down.
So picture this. The date is April 14th, 1865. This day kicked off with so much hope, so much celebration, but it was destined to end in absolute tragedy. A single day that would literally change the entire future of the country.
Just try to imagine what that felt like. You're in Washington, D.C., and the whole city's just buzzing. The air is electric, you know? People are filled with this incredible sense of relief and victory. I mean, the Civil War, this long, horrific, bloody war, it's finally over.
But here's the thing. While almost everyone is out celebrating, there's one man who isn't. Not even close. He's somewhere in the shadows, and he's not celebrating. He's plotting. Okay, so first, let's zoom in on the celebration from the perspective of the man right at the heart of it all. We've got a president who, for the first time in a long time, is actually at peace.
Think about what Abraham Lincoln has just been through. He has guided the nation through its absolute darkest hour. The war is done, so you can imagine he just wants to breathe. For the first time in what must feel like an eternity, he decides, you know what, let's just have a normal night. He and his wife are going to go to Ford's Theater and just see a play.
So the vibe inside the theater is fantastic. It's cheerful, it's light. But, and this is the chilling part, absolutely no one in that room, least of all the president himself, has a clue that this is it. This is his last night on Earth.
Okay, now we need to switch gears. Let's leave the theater for a moment and focus on the other major player in this story, the man who's been lurking in the shadows of this very same celebrating city.
And that man's name is John Wilkes Booth. Now, what's so wild about Booth is that he wasn't some random nobody. He was a famous actor, a real celebrity of his time. But underneath that public persona, he was a diehard Confederate supporter who absolutely despised Lincoln, saw him as a total tyrant. His first plan, it was actually to kidnap the president. But when the South lost the war, his plan got a whole lot more desperate and deadly. So what we've got here, on this one fateful night, are two completely different worlds about to smash into each other. On one hand, you have Lincoln, totally relaxed, no idea what's coming. And on the other, you've got Booth, laser-focused, totally determined, and closing in on his target. It's like two trains on the same track.
And this is where Booth had a truly terrifying advantage. He wasn't just some guy with a gun. He was an actor. Ford's Theater was his stage. He knew it inside and out. He knew the back hallways, the secret passages, even the timing of the play itself. He knew exactly where Lincoln would be. For Booth, the theater wasn't just the location, it was part of the weapon.
And so, here we go. Inside Ford's Theater, those two paths are about to cross. The final act is starting. So while the audience is laughing at the comedy on stage, a much darker play is unfolding just out of sight. Booth moves like a ghost through the theater. Nobody sees him. He slips up to the president's private box, and he waits. He's just waiting for that perfect moment to strike. Inside the box, Lincoln's having a good time, just enjoying the show. And then, in an instant, in the time it takes for a single heartbeat, the entire world changes. Booth steps into the box. He pulls out a small pistol. He aims, and he fires. Just one shot. The sound cracks through the theater. And for a second, people are confused. They think, hey, is this part of the show? But then the confusion turns to horror. Booth actually leaps from the president's box, a 12-foot drop, down onto the stage. He lands, and he screams out the state motto of Virginia, Sic Semper Tyrannis, which means thus always to tyrants.
That jump completely shatters a bone in his leg, but running on pure adrenaline, he manages to limp across the stage, get out the back door, and just vanish into the night. And what's left behind? Just absolute chaos and shock.
The attack itself took only a few seconds, but the tragedy, that was just getting started. A whole nation is about to go from celebration to heartbreak.
Doctors are there in an instant. They rush to Lincoln's side, but it's no use. They know right away the wound is fatal. He's gently carried across the street to a small boarding house. And that's where the long, awful wait begins as an entire country just holds its breath.
And look how fast this all unraveled. The shot rings out at 10:15 p.m. on Friday night. By 7:22 the next morning, Abraham Lincoln is gone. He's pronounced dead. And the manhunt for Booth, it was one of the biggest in history, and it ends 12 days later when he's finally cornered and killed.
Literally overnight, all that joy, all that relief from the war ending, it's just gone, replaced by this deep, profound shock and sadness. People were crying in the streets. I mean, the man who had held the entire country together through its worst crisis, the one person who was supposed to lead the healing process, he was just gone.
So the events of that night were obviously a massive tragedy. But the impact of that one single gunshot, oh, it would echo through history for decades, even to this day.
And let's be crystal clear about this. Lincoln's death didn't just end the life. It changed the entire trajectory of the United States. His plan for Reconstruction was about mercy and bringing the country back together. With him gone, that vision died too. The nation was suddenly on a much rockier, much more painful road. The damage from that single bullet was immense.
And that leaves us with the one question that has haunted historians and really all of us ever since. It's the ultimate what-if of American history, a question that hangs over everything we've just talked about. What would have been different if he had lived?